Welcome. This presentation introduces Bowman's strategic clock, a practical framework for understanding market positioning through the twin lenses of price and perceived customer value. Think of it as a compass for strategic choices. We'll explore 8 distinct positions, how they map on the clock, and how businesses can use this model to sharpen competitive advantage and guide tactical decisions. In the 1980s, Michael Porter set the stage with 3 generic strategies. But in 1996, Cliff Bowman expanded that thinking into a more nuanced 8-position model. This slide briefly traces that evolution and explains why the strategic clock gives sharper, more actionable guidance than a simple 3-way taxonomy, helping teams pinpoint precise positioning and trade-offs between price and value. Here's the visual heart of the framework: a circular clock that maps 8 strategic positions for intuitive understanding, with price on the x-axis and perceived customer value on the y-axis. The graphic shows how companies can dynamically map their current stance and explore moves around the clock, turning abstract trade-offs into a practical diagnostic tool you can revisit as markets shift. Why use the strategic clock? Because it offers nuanced flexibility beyond basic models, helps you pinpoint exactly where your product sits on price and value dimensions, and provides targeted strategic guidance for improving competitiveness. In short, it's a practical way to move from high-level theory to concrete choices about pricing, differentiation, and where to invest to strengthen your market position. This position represents bargain basement offerings, very low prices paired with minimal perceived value. The image of crowded dollar store shelves shows typical inventory and customer expectations. Firms survive here on extremely high volume, thin margins, and price-sensitive buyers. But they remain vulnerable to competitors and suffer low profits unless they can upgrade their value proposition or radically cut costs. Position 2 focuses on cost leadership, offering the lowest sustainable price while meeting acceptable quality standards. The supermarket photo evokes scale and operational efficiency. Success here depends on tight cost controls, optimized supply chains, and continuous process improvement to protect margins. When executed well, this strategy can capture price-conscious customers without collapsing into the risks of the bargain basement approach. The hybrid strategy balances moderate price with meaningful differentiation to attract value-seeking customers, and the showroom image captures that mix of style and practicality. Think of companies that combine functional features with cost-aware design. They differentiate enough to avoid pure price competition while remaining accessible, creating a defensible, sustainable middle ground. Differentiation is about delivering high perceived value that justifies standard to premium pricing, and the smartphone visual illustrates this clearly. Success rests on unique features, superior customer experience, and strong brand identity, which together support a price premium and long-term loyalty. This position rewards innovation and consistent quality that customers are willing to pay for. Focused differentiation targets niche, premium markets where exclusivity and craftsmanship drive willingness to pay, and the luxury watch image highlights that appeal. Brands in this position emphasize exceptional quality, heritage, or bespoke services that create strong emotional value and status, enabling high margins and loyal, less price-sensitive customers. Risky high margins describe situations where a high price is charged without matching perceived value, and the slide warns about reputation damage and customer backlash. This position can produce short-term gains, but is fundamentally unsustainable. Customers quickly notice the value gap, negative reviews spread, and market share can erode unless value is substantially improved. Monopoly pricing emerges when a firm controls supply or faces minimal competition, allowing high prices tied to a unique offering. The industrial infrastructure image reflects that market power. Typical examples include regulated utilities or protected pharmaceuticals. But even profitable monopolies face regulatory scrutiny and the risk of new entrants or policy changes that can erode advantage. The danger zone is high price paired with low perceived value, and the slide name makes that clear. Products here suffer declining sales and customer defection. Visual cues on the slide emphasize consequences like lost market share and potential exit, underscoring the urgency for firms in this position to pivot rapidly or risk business failure. The full clock visualization consolidates all 8 positions into a single wheel, color-coded to show sustainability and risk. The graphic helps you spot that positions 2 through 5 tend to offer long-term viability, while 1, 6, 7, and 8 carry greater vulnerability, making this a handy reference for strategic audits and scenario planning in real time. Step 1 in applying the clock is a clear diagnosis. Assess your price relative to competitors, measure customer value perception through surveys and reviews, and identify gaps between intended strategy and actual market position. The analyst image reinforces a methodical approach. Combine quantitative pricing data with qualitative feedback to locate where you sit on the clock and why. Step 2 is about exploring strategic options. Can you enhance perceived value through innovation or brand building, lean into price efficiency, or reposition entirely? Consider trade-offs between short-term moves and long-term positioning, and account for shifting market dynamics. This step turns diagnosis into a menu of actionable pathways you can test before committing to major changes. JetBlue's low-price strategy illustrates a real-world position, 2 example. The airplane image evokes streamlined operations combined with acceptable in-flight service. By focusing on cost efficiency and a compelling customer experience mix, JetBlue captured price-sensitive travelers and carved out profitable market share while avoiding a slide into pure bargain basement competition. Tesla exemplifies focused differentiation. The car photo highlights cutting-edge technology, sustainability appeal, and a brand that commands loyalty. This position works when innovation, performance, and mission-driven messaging create strong emotional and functional value, allowing premium pricing and a devoted niche following that sustains long-term competitive advantage. In the digital age, the strategic clock remains highly relevant because technology firms shift positions rapidly as markets evolve. The phone image underscores agility. Companies like Apple, Xiaomi, and Amazon demonstrate how ecosystem strength, hybrid approaches, or operational excellence map to different clock positions, and why constant reassessment is essential to stay competitive amid disruption. Use the model wisely and flexibly. It simplifies complex realities by focusing on price and perceived value. But it doesn't capture every strategic factor like brand equity or organizational capability. The slide's callouts remind you to factor in industry context, competitive intensity, and customer segments, and to treat the clock as a guiding tool rather than a rigid formula. To close, think of the strategic clock as a practical compass for navigating your competitive landscape. The compass image reinforces 3 takeaways. This framework helps you clarify positioning, pursue sustainable advantage by balancing price and value, and commit to continuous adaptation so your strategy evolves with the market. Your strategic clock is ticking. Choose your position wisely and revisit it often.